Hey, welcome back to the channel. Quick video today. This video is on how to add numbers or letters to your rack if it doesn't come that way, and also how to take those numbers and letters off so that it's not permanent. Additionally, I'm going to show you my system to track where the spotter arms, where the monolift arms, where the J-cups go for each different type of lift with each different type of bar. It's kind of an odd system, but it works for me. If that's something that's interesting to you, stick around. Okay, so quick video today. I actually wasn't planning on making a video. I was just doing a little project. And as I was going through the project, I decided, hey, this might make a good video because I've learned a couple things and I want to share the tips that I've learned. Number one is I want to add numbers and letters to my rack. I already have numbers and letters to my rack, which I've added, but they look like crap. I did that when I originally got the rack, and actually before I did that, I bought little magnet stickers that you could write on and stick them on different holes. And I got that from Coop at Garage Gym Review. Coop, he let me down on that. Because the problem is when you affix something to the rack that sticks out, number one, your attachments won't fit right. This is a 3x3 rack. Not when something's sticking out. It doesn't fit right. So when I would go to put my spotter arms on, it would run into those and it would rip some of them off. It was hard to fit things. So I quickly learned that's not the way to go. So what I did is I bought just a metallic Sharpie. And this metallic Sharpie, where you can get anywhere, you can get at Walmart or wherever, it works really good on sticking out on the black rack. So I took the metallic, silver metallic Sharpie, and I wrote numbers and I wrote letters on the side. And it looks like crap when I originally did it. I didn't really think it through. I didn't take my time. And I also, and I'll show some B-roll, I wrote squat where I thought I would need to put the J-cups or the spotter arms for squat. But what I realize, and what I think a lot of you realize, is sometimes the numbers that you assign to where your J-cups go or where your spotter arms go, which is going to be different than your J-cups, or where your safety spotter arms go, those change. For example, when I first started squatting and before I started powerlifting, I couldn't get as low as I squat now. So where I had my spotter arms set, that has changed. And so for me, riding squat, bench on the rack, that's not an option. The other thing is I have a bunch of different bars. So if I'm using a cambered bar or I'm using my multi-grip bar, it's going to change where the J-cups go and the spotter arms go, and it's going to change depending on if I'm using the monolift attachment versus the J-cups. There's all sorts of variables. So just numbers and letters is the way to go. But when I did it, it looked like crap. So I got an idea. I watched Curls in the Rack. That's a channel. If you haven't checked it out, I'll list the channel, link in the description. He does a lot of good do-it-yourself type videos. It's a cool channel, and he talked about using stencils and spray paint, and it looked really, really good. Now, I'm not artsy at all, and I don't want to deal with any kind of paint, spray paint. But I took that idea and I decided, okay, I'm going to get some stencils, and I'm going to get just some normal, what they're called are like red, well, you can get whatever color, but they're Sharpie, but they're oil-based Sharpies. All right, and so it's got oil-based paint, and you can get any color. I bought a bunch just because, but you can get red, white, yellow, you can do whatever. And I wanted to see if red worked because I thought the red against the black would look really good. And I kind of like that red-black theme. And then I also bought, and most of this stuff, by the way, it's not expensive. You can buy it at your local dollar store, most of this stuff. So I bought some stencils. Now I'm going to give you a little tip here. These paper stencils that are not already pre-cut are a pain in the butt. Stay away from them, especially if you're using small stencils. So I had two sizes that I was going to try. And by the way, this project isn't done, so we're going to learn together. But I wanted to go either 1/2 inch or at the biggest 1 inch. And that's because I have 5/8 inch holes. I got the west side spacing. So I'm just not going to have enough room to put anything bigger than that. The other thing is I don't like to put the numbers above the hole because then I forget which hole it's associated with. I'm a simple man, Okay, simple, man. It needs to just be on the side. But as I started to use these paper ones and I started to cut out some of the different, you know, you can push them out, but then there's parts that don't want to come out, and part of it rips off, and then your stencil's messed up. And I just quickly realized this wasn't going to work. So you can go to your Hobby Lobby. You can also go to the dollar store and get something like this where they're already pre-cut. They have varying different sizes. These ones are a 1/2 inch, but now it's already pre-cut, so I don't have to worry about it. The other thing is I went to the dollar store, Dollar Tree, for very cheap. I got these 1-inch ones. All right, so in case I want to use 1-inch, I don't know. I'm in the middle of this project as we speak. You're joining me for this. So I got those things, but here's the deal. I already have crappy written numbers and letters in silver metallic pen, Sharpie, on my rack. So I've done a couple test runs. It actually comes off rather easily without doing anything to the powder coat on the rack. All you need is some rubbing alcohol. I got this at the dollar store. Just simple rubbing alcohol. I'll link a description, but it's just rubbing alcohol. And some of these Mr. Clean magic erasers. And if you want to even go cheaper, go to the dollar store, get these kind of knockoff Mr. Clean magic erasers. They're the same thing, works just as well. You can take off the old numbering or lettering or whatever that you've added with a Sharpie or even an oil-based marker without messing up your powder coat. So once I learned that, it was like, oh, this is great. So I've taken a few off, not all of them yet, because I wanted to make this video. And I've added some different stencils in red. It actually looks pretty nice. I'm not very artsy, so it doesn't look like it's professionally done. But you're probably more artsy than I am. You have to be, because I am that bad. It looks so much better, and the red looks good. So here we go. Let's see how this thing comes across. Okay, we're finally done. I think it turned out pretty well. A couple things that I learned. Number one, fine tip oil-based marker tends to work better than the medium tip if you're going to use a smaller template or a smaller cutout. I use stencils that were a 1/2 inch on the front with the numbers and 1 inch for the letters on the side. Okay, to my system. I need to have some kind of marking on the side because my monolift attachment, I have the Rogue monoliths version 2. I do have a review on those. They attach from the side. There's also 3 holes in the Rogue monoliths. So there's a top hole, a middle hole, and a bottom hole. So I'll just take you through one of these. You can see that I changed my mind, which is another reason why you don't want to write bench, squat, or at least for me, on the rack. Just stick to numbers and letters, have your cheat sheet. Let's look at the first one. So if I'm on the outside of the rack, so I have a separate thing for the outside of the rack versus inside of the rack. The reason I do that is because safety straps are going to be set up differently than spotter arms. I'm a simple man. I have to have one for each so that I'm not confusing myself, which is not that hard to do. So look at outside of the rack, bench press. If I'm going to use a regular barbell, so any normal barbell, so my power bar, or if I want to use my Texas bench bar, whatever, just a regular barbell, I know that if I'm going to use J-cups, JC, that's J-cup, that's the same all the way through my system, I need to put those in hole number 26. I find 25, I just go one up, there I go. If I'm going to use a monolift, okay, ML is monolift, that's same all the way through my system. I need to put it on letter H, and in the monolift bottom hole. Letter H, bottom hole. Spotter arms are going to go on 13. Boom, I got it. Pretty simple. One more just in case you don't get it. So say I'm going to squat with my safety squat bar, SSB. So I go down to squat on the left, all the way to safety squat bar on the right. J-cups need to be 35. I've since changed that to 34. If I'm going to use J-cups, if I'm going to use my monolift attachment, it would go letter K, and in the middle hole, because again there's 3 holes on those monolifts, and then the spotter arms, I've changed a bunch, and again because it's depth, I change how far I want to get down, 18, 17, I don't know what it says on the screen because my handwritten notes has changed. So that's my system. Then I put some just separate exercises on the bottom. That way I'm not struggling to figure out and dial in where all my different attachments go. And I want to be safe because I'm lifting heavy weights. A lot of times I'm going for an RPE 10, 1 rep. If I fail, I want to make sure I'm safe. So that's what I do. Hey, what do you do? Leave it in a comment. If you can, please subscribe. Please leave a comment. Please hit that like button. I appreciate it. And until next time, adios.